to bring his ass to this ring. Give me a hell yeah.
Oh, and once again, we are back here for a brand new episode of SCI Wrestling. I am Chip Douglas.
I'm WB Ward. He's back. I'm front.
You're you are in the front because I am in the back here.
Yeah, that's because I stick out further than you.
That's true. That's true. You're a little bit larger,
but not for the reason you're thinking.
Oh, so I'll let you go ahead and think.
No, I'm not. I'm not finishing that thought.
All right, you shouldn't.
No,
you shouldn't.
No.
Anyways, how's your week?
Pretty weak.
Pretty weak.
Pretty. Not really anything big, substantial, or anything like that. It's just been a week.
All right.
It's been a week. How's yours?
Same. Good.
I've been warm.
Good week. Yeah, we've here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we've had some very nice warm temperatures.
Yep, but that's only because the temperature's been up.
That's true.
That's true.
Except for earlier this week, really nice week early on, but it kind of hit us all of a sudden, especially yesterday.
It's a Lola Gina Brigida today.
Yes, absolutely.
You know who that is?
No.
Oh,
I would just for the sake of time and.
Okay.
Who is it?
That's just a real sexy super movie star from back in the day.
Like in the 1830s?
You're so cute. Okay. No.
Hey, I've been good. The year and however much we've been doing this show, I have not made that many old jokes.
No, that's not entirely true. I've heard your jokes. Almost all of them are old. So there.
All right. Well, yeah.
Anyhow, how if you had to size up this week in wrestling in one word, what would you call this week?
In one sentence or one word?
I was going to say one word, but if you need more than one word.
No, I don't need more than one.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
That's a good word.
Interesting.
Now that I will agree with.
Very interesting week. We had some big news come out, not only from WBE but also from TNA. Which we'll address here on the show. And then also on Raw, we were able to see some more matches unfold for the upcoming pay-per-view SummerSlam.
I got to tell you, I've been happy.
And honestly, I was right on one.
Oh,
because if you remember,
you're gonna have to remind me. That happens so rarely that I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I called this one. One, but we'll get to that in the show.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I don't want to ruin it.
You want to tell you what? We do have a full plate today, so if you don't mind. I would suggest we just go ahead and just get on with the show here.
Oh, it's the tweet of the week.
Yeah, we didn't even have Cowboy Bob in the beginning of that.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. I think he went out on his horse.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, the tweet of the week. It's kind of, I explained to WB, kind of a week. For, try saying that 9 times fast.
Yes.
For tweets here. So I had to go a little bit deeper for this one, and I had to go with my old friend Ron Burgundy.
Oh, I like him.
Who's the anchor man from the movie.
Yes.
And I don't know if you'll get this reference, but to me, I thought it was hilarious, and so did 1,913 people that retweeted it. They need to make bigger Capri Suns. I'm not 7 years old anymore.
Yeah, I get the okay, yeah.
Which is true. Capri Suns were incredible.
Yeah, but they're a gulp.
Yeah, they're like one gulp and you're done.
Yeah.
So, like I said, folks.
That wasn't a wrestling tweet, though.
I know. I couldn't find one.
No, you couldn't find any good ones?
No good ones.
Okay, see, the live studio audience didn't even respond.
I'm glad you don't have the booze programmed.
Oh, why don't I have those? I don't have any booze.
That's a good thing.
I don't drink.
You don't what?
I don't drink.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So so what am I going to do with booze?
Yeah. Okay.
But being pro wrestling, we got to have a boo track.
That's true. We need to.
I have fallen down on the job.
You got failed at your job.
Before we get on with this, I want to go ahead and pay the piper this week. We were talking about how warm it's been.
Yes.
I'm going to stop by Nelson Mazda either tomorrow or Tuesday, probably Tuesday. Because, as you know, I just recently bought a car from there.
Yes.
For Nelson Mazda at 9902 South Memorial.
Me too, by the way.
Tulsa. Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, that's true. And so you're probably also taking advantage of what I take advantage of, and that's the fact that anytime you buy a car there, as long as you own the car, you've got a free car wash for life.
Yep.
Now, I know that may sound kind of silly, but I just think that's cool. And Also, every time, as I mentioned last week, every time I have washed my car, it has rained every single time. It's been warm enough. Now, what you watch Tuesday, I will wash my car. I guarantee you it will be raining here by Thursday. 24 to 48 hours. It has consistently rained each and every time. I swear, it makes me believe Nelson Mazda has some kind of a in the drought campaign in Oklahoma. So as my plea was last week, if you live anywhere near the Tulsa area and you need a great, beautiful, brand new Mazda or a great quality pre-owned car, stop by Nelson Mazda, 9902 South Memorial. Ask for John Bunting. Tell him WB sent you, because, by the way, they also have a referral program. So once you buy a car there, you can hopefully rack up some referral points like I'm hoping to rack up this way. So, I mean, there's all kinds of incentive there. But ask for John Bunting. Tell him I sent you. He'll fix you up with one, and then you, too, can help in the drought in Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how that's worked out. But, you know, I don't know if you've noticed it, but that's an absolute true story. Every single time. Every time.
Because you called me on it last week.
Yeah. And sure enough, I even, that's right. I texted you and it was a 2-word text. Yeah. It's raining.
It's raining.
And that was it. Okay. You know, among all the things that's been happening in wrestling, we have been having a bit of departure among the ranks of WWE. And to these fine muscled friends.
Happy trails to you.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
Okay, so what's going on with all these departures?
Well, in WBE, there was quite a few people sitting with their how they word it, good luck in your future endeavors.
Yes.
And one in particular that everyone would know is actually former ring announcer personal ring announcer for Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
Ricardo Rodriguez.
Oh.
So
I am really sorry to see him go.
Yeah, so we wish him happy trails on his future endeavors. Towards the end of his stint there at WBE, he was actually one of the commentators for the Spanish.
For the Spanish
commentary.
broadcast. Yeah. Well, that would make sense to use him for that, sure.
And unfortunately for Ricardo Rodriguez, he wasn't the only one cut, but he was the only talent that was cut. So,
but you're not specifying. Was he the only performer that was cut?
A couple of NXT guys that I don't think made it on TV.
When you say the only talent, that doesn't necessarily mean he was the only performer.
Correct. There were some NXT guys that I don't think made it onto a TV show that were also cut, but we're talking names. Ricardo Rodriguez was one. But coming to an end of the third quarter, WBE came out with their third quarter earnings.
Let me see if I can predict this.
Okay.
I truthfully have not looked.
Okay.
I would say, now I'm not going to give you a dollar figure, but you said this is the third quarter?
Yes, third quarter.
Okay, third quarter. First quarter was weak. Second quarter was weaker. I'm going to say the third quarter was weakest of all.
I don't know if it's the weakest. Hold on. My computer's loading here. Hold on.
Oh, okay. My age, it takes me a while to get loaded too.
I can't remember what their net loss was for the first and second quarter. I actually want to say the second quarter was more than the third quarter.
Then that would make what I just said true.
Are you saying the third quarter is more? Or?
No, I'm saying the third quarter is pretty weak.
Yeah, pretty weak. Definitely weak, and this thing is still loading. My apologies. But I know the overall net loss is $14.5 million.
Ouch. That's got to smart even somebody as rich as what's his doofus?
Ooh.
McMahon. The McMahons.
Yes.
Yeah, that's noticeable.
Yes. So they okay. It just loaded for me. Yeah, the company reported Thursday a net loss of $14.5 million, or 19 cents per share, compared to a net income of $5.2 million on 7 cents per share, and the basis the same period last year. On adjustment basis, the loss was $13.5 million. and the results came in 3 cents better than a 21-cent loss analysts expected. So the loss wasn't as great as what everyone thought it would be, as far as analysts and stuff like that.
What would you say if I told you I thought the biggest reason for that was because of the WWE Network?
It absolutely is.
Okay, I'm surprised to hear you say that.
No, it's 100% because of the WWE Network, but they're also trying to streamline, believing that that's also going to solve the issue at the same time.
I hope so, because they've got too many problems with the WWE Network, and there are some huge problems there. It's impossible for them to fix because they are beyond their control.
Well, they're trying to get to the 1 million subscriber mark on the WWE Network. Right now, according to their report, 700,000 subscribers, which is 33,000 more than what it was during the second quarter.
Now, I'm curious. I wonder if that's an aggregation of subscribers, or is that how many people are actually subscribed at this particular moment?
Subscribed at this, it has to be at this moment.
Because the reason I'm asking is for the simple fact, if this happens to be an aggregation of people that have come, they've gone, more people came in to replace them, and they're just adding to that figure, they can kind of falsely inflate those figures if they present it that way.
Right.
And that just really doesn't mean anything.
Now,
Now, one of the problems that the WWE Network has that there's nothing they can do about this. And that is there's no quality control, none whatsoever, because a lot of what you see on the WWE Network is subject to A, your computer, and B, your internet provider. And that is just beyond the realm of WWE's control. If you got a weak link in either one of those two places, you're not going to get a good quality show.
But I think they're also trying to capitalize on on some of the other internet platforms. Netflix has well over 1 million subscribers. Hulu, same thing. With YouTube, there's probably hundreds of thousands of videos that have millions and millions of hits on there. So they're really just trying to capture that growing technology
I just
market.
hate the fact that this is leaving out middle America.
I see your point, but it's also it's a trend to where America's going at the same time.
It is.
And that's where they're trying to go with it. And it's very interesting. 700,000 subscribers. If you put this in reference to how many people actually view the show, which they score about in the threes in the ratings, which is the equivalent of about 4 to 5 million people watch Monday Night Raw on a given week. So with that being said, only 700,000 subscribers feel it necessary to spend $10 a month. Is kind of sad to me. I really thought that if you have 4.5 to 5 million viewers every single week, that you should be able to turn out more subscribers than that. So I think what they really have to do is, instead of reanalyzing the price, which they have done, they really need to look at the content on the WWE Network to ensure that the content is exactly what the viewers want. My main complaint is, besides a Legends House, there isn't a original show on there that I really care about watching. NXT's fun, but
could they really produce a? I don't know if they could really produce an original production and keep the cost down. Well, because whether you're producing that for television or you're producing that for a webisode, the production costs are the same either way.
Yeah, I see your point. I mean, it's going to, but they're already taking a loss to try to gain profit. So why not try to get more loss and see if it works?
Yeah. Okay.
Legends House, I mean, that thing was produced years ago. I mean, that was not something new. I mean, they had that in their back pocket for 2 years.
Well, that's helpful.
I mean, just thankfully all those guys were still alive when it aired.
Yeah, that's kind of, at some of their ages, that's been kind of touch and go.
Right.
By the way, of all the people that they let go this week, we overlooked one from last week. Last week was JR's final day.
Oh, that's right.
His contract officially came to an end. And I cannot help but wonder if these financial statistics you're talking about now led to part of that. Because I have a hard time believing, as relatively tame as their reasons for removing him were, I think he may have been reinstated had it not been for the financial conditions. They might not have been able to afford him.
I think they could afford him. It's the fact that they want to afford him.
I don't know.
Same thing with CM Punk. I mean, his contract expired in July. I mean, that's probably...
Yeah, but they would sign him up in a heartbeat. There's no such thing as they cannot. It's not an idea that they cannot afford CM Punk. It's just that if CM Punk became available, they could not afford to not have him.
Right.
I mean, because you're talking cash registers ringing immediately.
To me, it's just hard to grasp how they don't appreciate Jim Ross and what everything he has done.
That's true.
So I look at that from probably a different aspect than some other people. I mean, I'm sure most of our listeners, and including you, will completely agree that there isn't very many men that could do what JR could do on a microphone calling a match.
Oh, and there's no question. Now, on the subject of revenue, though, for Jim Ross, realistically, what did he produce for the company? Or did he?
What do you mean revenue?
I mean, did they sell Jim Ross merchandise, for instance?
No.
Okay, I wasn't asking that to be a smart aleck. I was genuinely wondering because I didn't know if they did or not.
I don't think so.
And see, I was thinking about that along with the lines of CM Punk. See, CM Punk's going to be automatic cash in the bag. With Jim Ross, they would have TV ratings. However, at this point with the WWE Network, they might unfortunately be developing the attitude of, who cares about TV ratings?
And they got Michael Cole.
Oh, God. So I've got a wart on my butt.
So,
see,
that should be it. I should just say that word, and that should just put an end to it right there.
Actually, that pretty much capsulizes as far as Jim Ross is concerned. Absolutely. Tell you what, let's go ahead and take a look at this week's top 10 PowerPoint rankings, if we would.
3, 2, 1.
This is the SCI Top 10 PowerPoints based on information from WWE.com and the Academy of Wrestling Arts and Sciences. Among other things, the rankings are based on victories, quality of opponents, momentum, and overall in-ring dominance. Beginning first with a glance at the top of the ladder as of August 3rd, 2014.
Number 10.
Chris Jericho earned his spot in his first appearance on our countdown this week after gaining a rematch against Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam, mouthing off to the Authority, and getting Eric Rowan banned from the biggest party of the summer.
Number 9.
Paul Heyman proclaimed on Raw that his client, Brock Lesnar, intends to victimize WWE World Heavyweight Champion John Cena when the superstars collide in the main event at SummerSlam. Lesnar's very presence is enough to earn his place within the top 10.
Number 8.
Divas champion AJ Lee made short work of Rosa Mendez on SmackDown, but the two-time title holder definitely still has her hands full with frenemy and budding rival Paige.
Number 7.
United States champion Sheamus slipped out of the top 5 this week due to in-ring inactivity. Even still, anticipated storylines are enough to keep the Celtic Warrior in the forefront as we position for SummerSlam.
Number 6.
I'm on top to save my peak.
The Usos claimed the 5th longest WWE Tag Team Championship reign in history this week and celebrated by knocking off Ryback twice, first on Raw and again on WWE Main Event.
Number 5.
The Money in the Bank contract ordinarily requires a superstar to keep one eye on the WWE World Heavyweight title picture, but Seth Rollins does not have that luxury as long as Dean Ambrose is around. Rollins fleeing from a chair-wielding Ambrose on SmackDown indicates that trouble still lies ahead.
Number 4.
I hear voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me.
WWE's Apex Predator delivered a depraved attack on Roman Reigns on Raw to prove who deserves a chance to challenge for the WWE World Heavyweight title. Now, Randy Orton has challenged Reigns to a match at SummerSlam in order to remove any doubt about who deserves to be called the face of WWE.
Number 3.
The WWE World Heavyweight Champion John Cena didn't hide his concerns about defending his coveted title against Brock Lesnar at Summerslam. Of course, he also didn't back down from a prediction of victory in Los Angeles in the moments before John Cena dispatched Cesaro on Raw. But it wasn't enough to retain first place as the champ saw a 2-position drop in this week's countdown.
Number 2.
If Roman Reigns had any doubt about what it feels like to endure the wrath of the Viper, he doesn't anymore. The master of the Superman punch stepped into a trap on Raw set by Randy Orton and Kane, with Orton relishing the chance to soften Reigns up before challenging the explosive young superstar to a match at SummerSlam. And now, with this week's climb to the top of the chart,
Number 1.
one way or another, Dean Ambrose intends to avenge the betrayal perpetrated by former Shield cohort Seth Rollins. Though that pursuit cost him the chance to finish off Alberto Del Rio on the WWE main event, Ambrose battered Kane with a steel chair on SmackDown to regain Mr. Money in the Bank's attention. That's this week's SCI Top 10 PowerPoints. And, you know, as we've come on up to SummerSlam, lots of storylines can be spawned from everything you heard there. What was interesting is part of the top 10 is decided by in-ring dominance, as you say, even though 2 of those people mentioned were not in the ring at all this week.
Who? Oh.
Sheamus and Brock Lesnar. Now, Brock Lesnar, that pretty much goes without saying.
Right.
The guy makes an impression not even being there. Sheamus, I was just kind of cutting him some slack.
And that's actually one of the ones I'd actually have disagreed with.
Really?
I thought that he should have been lower down on the list. And I really to hear Chris Jericho's name on it was awesome. But I really thought that maybe he should have been a little bit higher.
I'm playing a wait and see game.
Okay.
I definitely believe top 10 positions, yes, absolutely should be in the top 10. Whether or not he should be any higher than the top 10, I just think has yet to be seen.
And Dean Ambrose, number 1.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I'm becoming an Ambrose man all the way.
And no, I'm sitting there, I'm hearing number 2, and I'm hearing Roman Reigns music, and I'm immediately in my head, I'm like,
Bill blew it.
I was like, who's gonna be number 1?
I know that it's almost like you're sweeping the room clean at that point. But no, Dean Ambrose, I mean, the tenacity his character has been able to show, I think has just been more than ample to set him up, and possibly maybe Dean Ambrose should be looking at being the face of the WWE.
He's coming close to it.
He certainly is not the shoulder.
No.
Not now. But you know, as far as Roman Reigns is concerned, before we can find Roman's reign, I love that. Before that can happen, though, there's an awful lot of things that need to take place. He needs to have more one-on-one pay-per-view victories. I honestly believe there has to come a time where he faces Triple H. And before any of this takes place, I just don't see Roman Reigns' character developing any further.
I think you were looking at WrestleMania, and it's what's really going to be interesting is are they going to try to make him the face of WBE at WrestleMania? Because the logical road that he can go down is just kind of use this time, because he'll have SummerSlam, then he'll have Night of Champions, Hell in a Cell, Survivor Series, and I think something else before the Royal Rumble, which is where he ultimately would be the winner of the Royal Rumble.
Now, before we get any further and before we run out of time, I got to talk about my favorite subject, cat fights.
Cat fights!
I love the way they're doing this twist with the ladies, Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon. I love that turn Stephanie McMahon did in the ring.
Did you like that?
I loved that. I thought that was absolute. I have to tell you, it was the second time I was hooked. I was suckered into it, hook, line, and sinker.
The thing that they did last week with her getting arrested, I thought was great.
Yes.
And then
It's
they
an old
follow-
gimmick,
It's an old gimmick,
but it's a good one.
But they haven't used it in a very long time.
When's the last time they had somebody carted off in handcuffs? It has happened several times, but
I mean, it happened to Stone Cold about once every other couple months.
yeah, well, and that was both real and in the ring.
Yeah.
But I know Triple H got arrested once. I know John Cena did a long, long time ago. But it has. You're right. It's been a while since
very long time.
they
So-
blew the mothballs off of this one.
And so with this week, they officially announced the SummerSlam match between Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon.
Now with Brie coming back, can Daniel be far behind?
Royal Rumble.
You think?
They everything speculates the fact that he's going to be out until the Royal Rumble.
Well,
And that's what brought my point to Roman Reigns winning the Royal Rumble. Who is going to really main event WrestleMania? I mean, they were riding around Daniel Bryan so much, and then he got that neck injury, and now they're pushing Roman Reigns to what looks like to be a WrestleMania main event. Where are they going to fit Daniel Bryan in?
and are they getting ready to do another push on R-Truth?
No. No. Are you talking about this whole group?
What do you mean this whole group?
The group that, because
Well, I'm just wondering. You know, he brought the streak to an end with Bo Leave this
no,
week.
no push.
And I'm wondering. I can't help but wonder if they're getting ready to try to do a push on R-Truth, try to get him back up to the forefront again.
I don't think they'll be main event. What I see him doing is being the leader of that whole misuse character type thing with Xavier Woods, Big E, and Kofi.
Oh yeah, probably.
That's what I see.
I can't. Now that you mention it, I can see that a little easier.
Like
too.
a new, I call it the new Nation of Domination.
Yeah. You know, now that you mention it, I do see that.
So, also what happened on Raw is I don't know if it's been officially announced, but it's been pretty much all confirmed that's going to happen. Zack Swagger versus Rusev and a flag match.
A flag match,
Which I predicted. I predicted that
you did
on the Battleground predictions.
I do remember you saying that.
I said, let Rusev win, or however you need to do it. They'll set up SummerSlam for a flag match. And I think this is
You
brilliant.
most certainly did.
So this is brilliantly done because the fact that this is the one match to where you can have Swagger win, because here's the thing. He doesn't have to pin Rusev. So Rusev still looks like a beast, but still America gets that good feeling.
You know, it'll be interesting to see how they play this out because, yeah, it could be a good feeling thing, having the American flag raised. At the same time, what a great way to push a heel.
Oh, man, do you really want him to fly that Russian flag around?
Well, I mean, by how different would that have been than, of all people, allowing Brock Lesnar to end the streak at WrestleMania?
Well, that's true.
You know, so and you remember the shocked faces there.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if they might be trying to redo that because
Well,
it was a ratings
you can
getter.
redo that.
Well, they might be trying.
Yeah, there's no way you can redo that, but I think it'd be there would be some shock value attached to it.
Oh, some, yeah, just a little, yeah. But I can at this point, there's no way I could make a call on this one.
Right.
I know what I would like to see. I'm an Air Force veteran. My son is Army. My little brother was Army. So, you know, I'm going to back America.
Right.
No question. But when I'm thinking of WWE and the storylines, I could see this working either way.
It would work either way. Before we end the show, I just want to touch on one thing that we never talk about TNA, but they made some news that was pretty significant. And I know we're wrapping up the show here, but TNA just lost their TV deal on Spike.
Oh, my gosh.
And so
They've been spiked.
They've been spiked starting in October. So they actually still have a little bit of time to capture some notoriety, to get picked up on another network.
I don't know. Spike likes showing a little TNA.
Not on that show, they don't.
No.
But let's see what happens there.
That's probably
very
why they lost the
interesting.
contract.
They've been the number 2 company behind WBE for quite some time. Kind of a weak number 2. Definitely not WCW back in the day, but very interesting. We'll keep you updated on what's going to happen there.
Meanwhile, continue to listen to us next week. We've got some more news coming up from SummerSlam.
And guests to come in the coming weeks.
Yay! SummerSlam, August 18th in Los Angeles. Tickets start at $25, going up to $475, or you can just catch it on WWE Network for $10. That's it. No question there. Stay tuned next week for another edition of this little show that we call SCI.